Welcome to the Idea Creator channel. I'm an idea creator and you can be an idea creator too. It's free, it's fun, it's fast, and it allows for you to build your own portfolio of ideas, the secret weapon to kickstart your career. So just watch what I do and then do what I do. It's actually not that hard once you get around to doing it. Now, an idea can be anything, and anything can be turned into a piece of content. And today I'll show you how to express an idea using the sketch format. So I've been brainstorming ideas for this channel, like content ideas, what to show you, my audience, who I think will be in your 20s, like what would be most interesting to you. And one thing I came up with was the idea for a board game. And I'm not really into board games myself, but I was inspired by playing one a while back with some good friends, and we ended up laughing throughout the entire evening. It was so much fun. And that game was called Secret Hitler. And it's a kind of social deception game, right? One where someone is secretly working against the group. So, if you will, you can think about Among Us, the hugely popular online game. So, similar to that, but with cards. And what grabbed my interest as a non board gamer, but as an idea creator, was the dynamic here. Yeah, that often happens to me. I find different kinds of dynamics to be very interesting and worth pursuing. You will see that in videos to come in the future. But this thing here made me connect that to this trope in books, in fantasy books that I read when I was in my 20s, where a common trope, a common thing that happened was that traitors would open the city gates from the inside during a siege. And for me, in my brain, with my firing synapses, right, something there clicked. And I wrote down a working idea, as I like to call it, so just a definition written down so I remember what the heck I'm doing. I wrote down a board game where players defend a medieval city, but some secretly work for the enemy. And I was pretty happy with this because it came together in this sort of innovation principle, right, where two unrelated things combine and they form something new, something that might be more valuable than the sum of their parts, right? So now I was excited about this. I had my idea seed, but I needed to figure out, like, what should I actually make? I knew I wanted to create sketches, but if I went for a full board game, I realized I need to make a board and cards and player tokens to move around on the board. That's kind of a lot, yeah? So my brain again was hit by that old mnemonic, that remembrance of the acronym KISS. KISS, keep it simple, silly. That's another innovation principle that's really good to try to keep in the back of your mind. And sometimes it's hard, as you will see in this video. But I try to keep it in the back of my mind, to keep things simple. So for this, I was thinking, what if I just sketch characters instead of making a full board game? Characters on cards. And then again, synapses fired, something came together from the creative chaos, something valuable perhaps. Why not make it a card game that is a collectible card game instead of a board game, right? That's much more promising. It has much more potential. It's more exciting. It's more interesting. And it is in line with idea creation, because in idea creation, we try to do this all the time. We try to ask ourselves, in the back of our minds, how can I make my idea more interesting? What can I tweak about it to add more overall value? Yeah. And this did up the value, because now we're tapping into that old psychologic survival collect things instinct, the collector's instinct, right? That humanity has had since we were back at the Stone Age. And also we're tapping into sort of like the business end of things. Yeah, because if we make a board game, then we have something we can sell once to customers. If we make a collectible product, we have something we can sell again and again. And then we can have returning customers. And that is more profitable in the long run when you're thinking about, creating something that can be a business. So yeah, that follows another innovation principle. My mind is just full of them now. That one is called follow the money. And I think we will get back to that one in further videos. So subscribe to the channel and stay with me here. And we will follow the money together and learn how to do that. But at this point, during my process, I had written down in my notebook, make character card sketches for a card game where players defend a medieval fantasy city, but some secretly work for the enemy. Yeah? So now I had more of a clear direction. I knew a little bit more about what I wanted, where I wanted to go with this. But I still felt that I needed a bit more of like a game feel to it. So a little bit of game mechanics. And a little bit more of an idea, a notion of like what the card structure should be. Because I only know that I need to have like good cards and evil cards. Yeah. But I worked that out, and I ended up with that at the start, before the game begins, each player draws a faction card. And then they become either a city loyalist or a secret traitor. And then the game begins. And players draw and play action cards like Knight, Archer, or Ballista to build up the overall defense level of the city. But the secret traitors, in between the defense building cards, they can play sabotage cards in secret. Cards like Poisoner or Sapper or Spy, under the guise of helping to build the defense. And then the game is, the interesting part about the game is this social deception thing where the players try to figure out like who is loyal and who is secretly trying to bring the city down. And the game ends when either all of the traitors are exposed and then the city survives, or all the loyalists, the defense is defeated and the city falls, right? So yeah, before I show you what I came up with, my sketches, I have to be honest and say that they're not really my sketches. I cheated and I used AI. And that's because I really can't draw. I really can't draw worth crap. So I had to. But the very reason I'm making this video is that I know that there are those of you in my audience out there who love to draw, right? There are always some youths in every school who just sit there and draw like dragons and unicorns and princesses. And this is for you. Myself, I personally usually stick with the written word when I make things, but I have to show you what's possible with idea creation. Varied examples. So here we go. Yes, my almost by me sketched cards. First, the City Loyalist card. Here I just wanted to express that this person is upright, honorable, unflinching, trustworthy, right? And I'm pretty happy how that turned out. It really communicates just that. Then there's the secret traitor. And I wanted someone who looks a bit sketchy, a bit stooped maybe, like a hard, rugged jawline, a high hairline. I think I could have made something here that's a person who looks even more sketchy, right? Because I want to get the point across, but it's good enough. So I'm going to go with it. This is something I make as a prototype to show you. We're on the prototype level. We're not going for perfection, we're going for good enough, right? So let's move on to the action cards. First up, we have the Knight Protector, which adds +3 to the city's melee defense, right? So to close quarter combat defense. And has a perk. Can't be damaged by enemy archers. And has a flaw, can only target enemies on the front line. And that's because he wears armor and he carries a sword, right? Makes sense. Next we have the Elven Archer, which gets +1 to, which adds +1 to the melee defense of the city, yeah, and +2 to the ranged defense of the city, and has a perk, can target all enemy units because bow and arrow, and has a flaw, takes double damage in melee, doesn't wear armor. Finally, we have the Ballista, which gives +4 to the city's total ranged defense. Has a perk in that it ignores enemy armor. You get hit by one of those bolts and you're dead. Has a flaw, it can't target melee enemies, right? It can't target fighters coming up close to it. And here I realized a little bit too late. Hindsight, as they say, is 2020. I should have used a catapult here instead. But in the development process, I didn't know I should have done that. But it would have made more sense because a catapult throws rocks. It lobs rocks in a parabolic arc. So of course it can't hit something that's close to it. So that would have made much more sense. Again, I haven't changed it up. I have left it as is because again, I'm trying to make something on the sketch level, on the prototype level, just to show you, yeah? Moving on to the sabotage cards, we've got Poisoner, Sapper, and Spy. And they all radically weaken the city's overall defense in different ways. And of course, again, looking back, I should have made them look more shady and obviously evil. But I got creative, and when I get creative, I think in advanced ways, right? Because I'm 45 and I like complexity. It stimulates my intellect. So I made the Poisoner look like a really, really nice person, someone you would never think would poison you. And I made the Spy look like this sweet, benevolent old monk, this holy man who no one would ever think is a murderous traitor. So I got caught up in my own creativity. I forgot about the rule, kiss, keep it simple, silly. And that happens. The creative process is creative chaos, and it's all good. So, it happens. As long as you're having fun, it doesn't matter if you run away with things from time to time. Looking back, I should have maybe made the Poisoner into something like a sketchy apothecary, I should have made the Spy into a really arrogant, noble, or something like that, yeah. And if I were 20 years old, yeah, and I brought this to a job interview or a job fair, then I could do what I've just done to you here. I could totally explain my creative process, the ups and downs and the mistakes I made, and how I addressed those mistakes, yeah, and planned to do something about them and make things better. I could explain how this idea evolved, right, through my efforts from being a board game to becoming a collectible card game, yeah, and how I, through that, as a direct consequence, now plan perhaps to test it, yeah, to live test it by going to collector card conventions, to cons, and talk to real card collectors, right, who play Magic the Gathering and these kinds of games, to get their feedback and then make improvements and iterate on different versions of this game until it actually looks better. than it does right now. So yeah, but I've been able to do this, yeah, with just an idea and a few sketches. I have made my own game concept. It's my first. I've never made one of these before. But it has the basics that it needs. It has characters and factions and a game mechanic. Even if it's all just like lightly hinted at, it shows potential. So of course I printed it out, because you know me by now. I print things out and then I put them into my physical example portfolio of ideas, just like this. And now I have 4 content pieces in this idea portfolio, with more to come. A quick rundown just of how I made them, if you want to make something similar, should you want to. I found a blank card template online. Then I used AI to generate the images. I dropped it all into Canva. I added some text boxes. I tossed in a few decorations, and boom, that's it. Then I just downloaded them and printed them. So yeah, I did this. Yeah, I don't play board games. I don't collect cards. Never have. I can't draw. I can't even draw a straight line. And I've never been to a con because I'm too old. But with idea creation, you know, I can still bring a solid concept to the table. And if I can do that, then you can do it too. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And next up, we'll look at yet another kind of content piece. Then we'll look at the storyboard. And it's a continuation of the sketch format. So if you liked this one, do stick around. Otherwise, feel free to playlist skip. So again, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you later.